This is Surviving Survivor.
Hello and welcome back to Surviving Survivor. It's been a minute, but we are here to talk all things Survivor 49, our thoughts on the winners, our opinions on different moves during this jury phase of the season, and if we are happy with the outcome. We'll also give you a little hint of our thoughts on Survivor 50's little preview that we got. I am joined alongside Emily McGlynn and Abby Tarpey, and I am Jack Fraser. And yeah, let's go right into it.
I want to know how you guys felt about the final three. Do you think it was fair? Do you think they all deserve to be there? And kind of leading into the winner, which is Savannah, aka Jack picked the winner. So congratulations. Very happy for you. I'll just start off by saying this. I am not happy that Savannah won, which is shocking because I was such a supporter of her throughout most of the season, and I wanted her on my draft so badly just because she was a reporter and all these things, and I had that personal connection with her. And I don't know if I've said this on the podcast, but a woman that I work with now used to work with Savannah, which is so cool. So she showed me a picture of it and everything. But the reason I'm not happy is not because of her gameplay. I totally agree that she outwitted, she outplayed, and she outlasted. But Christina, Miss Girl, she knew what she was doing by saying, hey, I know your social game wasn't the best, but could you name a family member or a partner or spouse of everyone here on the jury? And she couldn't do it. I thought that was going to be in the nail in the coffin for her, but it wasn't. Everyone just liked everything that she said, liked her pitch, liked her argument. She's a very well-spoken person, obviously. Being a reporter and all, she's got that advantage. But I don't know, that was just very off-putting for me, and I wouldn't expect all those people to vote for her as I thought I would. But I don't know. Those are my thoughts and opinions on Savannah winning. What did you guys think?
I think that a big reason that Soph took some of the votes from Savannah is because of that question, but it wouldn't take away from the fact that Savannah still played a good game, just a game that some people wouldn't necessarily like, in the sense that Savannah had her allies and had her people she was really close to that played from the bottom successfully. They just weren't. She played a bit of a mean girl game in that sense. So while everyone won't necessarily like it, a lot of people still will because she had the social strategy, the physical components, her not being super close or being able to recall things on the spot doesn't necessarily imply a bad game. So while I loved the question and I think it showed a side to her game that it isn't a perfect game for everybody, there really is no such thing. It wasn't like an end-all be-all question in the way that maybe you could out someone as a liar or fake in social strategy.
Yeah, I think as of late, especially, we've had a lot of people winning based off of their social game. So, like, Kenzie definitely beat Charlie because of the fact that she had that really strong social game going in. I think people like a Marianne, while she had a great final tribal, but she also really was able to get them with that social game. I think Jam Jam as well. So it was kind of refreshing to see a jury kind of go in and think about the strategic moves as well. And I will say, in my opinion, I think Savannah saved it the next question when she talked about how her style of game was to not be friends with everyone, but create those very close alliances and close relationships. And then talked about how her relationship with Sophie, Yellow Sophie, was the reason that they were able to flip the game because she had Sophie in her corner and was able to make these blind sides against an Alex and the blind side against an MC. And I think that is what kind of flipped it and made it okay again. Because I do understand when you're in front of people that you voted out on television and you're up to win possibly $1 million, kind of freezing when asked a question like that. I can't say I would have been able to do that, but I honestly thought it was a little bit refreshing. I agree with what Abby said. That's definitely the reason it wasn't as clean of a sweep, but I think it is kind of cool to see a jury reward a more physical, strategic game. That being said, I was a little surprised by how little the jury respected Sage's game. There was a lot of eye rolling, there were a lot of people arguing with her, and while it appeared that, and this is something that Abby and I have been saying, while she was in the driver's seat for a lot of the people getting voted out, was it the smartest thing? And I think that we argued she shouldn't have been sitting next to Savannah. I don't think it necessarily made sense. And her argument was, well, I'm here in the final three, aren't I? And like, while it may have not made the most sense to you, I am sitting here. And I was really interested and kind of surprised by the jury's reaction to her game compared to Savannah, because I would have thought that Savannah would be the one that they're really hating on and throwing shots at and being like, why are you doing this? Why are you being mean to everyone? Why are you standoffish? Instead of Sage, who they're like, kind of, hey, what the hell? What were you thinking? Why were you doing these things?
Yeah, what was that about? Like, I feel like the only snippy question or backlash that Savannah got was when Christina asked her question. Or I guess it was more awkward than it was anything else. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's because Sage was a little bit more opinionated about throughout the entire game, whereas maybe, you had to get on Savannah's bad side first in order for her to like confront you in kind of a meanish way. But I mean, I think the audience, saw more of her mean girl tendencies like in her confessionals more than Sage. Like Sage was just like honest, I feel like, than anything else. But I don't know. I thought that the whole thing was wild. Who I wanted to win, I really wanted Sophie to win. Not because she's on my draft or anything, but like I don't know. I thought she played a really clean game. Like she didn't really mess with anybody else. Um, she had some good substantial moves, not only before the merge, but also post merge too. I definitely think she would have snatched the $1 million if she betrayed one of her alliance members. I think she kind of did that in a way with making them do fire, but I mean, like, you had no choice but to make them do fire. But I think the only thing that she maybe didn't think through, or she didn't think of at the time, was like, okay, if you put one of them in fire, they're already really strong players. You're going to make one of them look so much better than the other. Like if Rizzo, I'm so sorry, Abby. If Rizzo won fire, he would have won the whole thing. He was diabolical this season, and I'm so glad he's coming back to 50, which I know we'll talk about in a little bit. But like, I don't know. Justice for Sophie, and she was undermined like I predicted. Like I predicted. Abby, go ahead.
I think some of the issue with Sage is that she, as we've kind of previously stated, and it's not an original thought, has a very similar archetype on the show to Carolyn. And with someone like Carolyn, it reads for us as people who don't know them, to me, as if they read better on camera, where they're really good at confessionals and they're really good at explaining what they're thinking and what's in their head to a third party, but seem to have communication issues like we saw with Carolyn in the Traders, of getting out what they want and having their vision come to fruition. So I actually understand from the jury's perspective voting for and preferring someone like Savannah, who you were against, who bested you from the bottom, who had all of these reasons she shouldn't have made it to the end and did, and all of the moves benefited her that she was a part of, compared to Soph, who is in the same trio, but she should have beat out Savannah. She should have turned her on her and didn't. Instead, Savannah got to use her. Whereas Sage made strategic moves that harmed people in the jury that didn't benefit her either. So it would be fine if she voted out Steven because she wants to go to the end with people who she thinks she can beat more than she could beat Steven. She didn't do that. So someone like him won't vote. I don't think he voted for her. And I don't know why he
Yeah,
would.
Jawan only voted for her, and Jawan
Yeah.
said that he voted for her kind of based off of the heart instead of the head.
Yeah. So she made a lot of emotional decisions, not strategic, and that's a hard game to vote for at the end. Because of that is why I kind of wanted Savannah to win out of that trio. it should have been Rizzo. He should have won Fire and he should have won. Um, but out of that trio, Savannah to me was the most deserving because of what you said of Soph was doing really good and had a really good winner's arc up until waiting too long to make that final move.
Yeah, I think Soph's downfall, honestly, was that knowledge is power because there are so many moves that are behind the scenes, but the jury only really sees things that happen during tribal council or things that you talk about during that final tribal, or maybe what they're hearing outside after somebody is voted out. But really, when you do something in front of everybody, it shows that you know what's happening and you have awareness. And I think if Sophie wanted Rizzo and Savannah to not be in the final three with her, which she clearly didn't, she should have just taken Rizzo's idol and gotten him out. Or even if they got Steven out, then she has the idol and she can say, I wasn't super loyal to them because now I have this idol and we can vote one of them out in five. And if they get one of them out in five, she gets to be there and somebody gets to go up to, against Christina, who's apparently this huge, great fire maker. And that's the way I think she could have won, of being like, hey, listen, guys, I made my move, and while I couldn't get Savannah out, and I thought Steven was a bigger threat than Rizzo, I got the idol, which is honestly the biggest part of this. And I think if she had that to prove, she would have won. But I think her going after Steven and failing in front of everybody really kind of showed a little bit of a weakness there, which is, I think, the reason that she didn't win at the end.
Backtracking to Steven real quick, I was so confused when Soph asked him, hey, do you have an advantage? And he said no. Was that because he gave it to Jeff before Tribal? Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
I just mainly think it was dumb on production's part to put a knowledge is power um piece into play at the same time as this slightly varied version of a block of vote that we've seen before by saying it has to be done before tribal in a confessional because we've never seen that, and it feels like a really weird loophole that you're trying to make Soph look dumb because it's true she didn't need to use it. He would have like she would have it, but other for the next vote, but we saw she didn't turn on them anyway, so it wouldn't have really affected the game. It just made her more appear more dumb and like be more embarrassed, and I kind of felt bad for her for that because she did the right thing.
I have never remembered where production gave the players an advantage or an idol of some sort, and then it wasn't shown at tribal council. Like I think that was the dumbest thing in the world, and they
Yeah.
never, to
We
my,
also ruined the TV moment of him playing
yeah,
it. Like, we also didn't even, like, it was just a really quick, so I am using my block of vote on Savannah.
yeah.
Like, that wasn't memorable. It's more memorable to go up in front of everybody, including the jury of peers that you're trying to get to vote for you at the end and have that move in which you block somebody's vote.
Right. Well, and also too, at that moment, if Steven wanted to block Savannah's vote and then Soph wanted to take his block of vote, if they were to say, "Hey Jeff," at the same time, who gets first dibs? Like that would have been 10 times more entertaining than, it was a little funny that Soph, had her ass made fun of, but like I don't know. I know. Hey, I'm a number one supporter for Soph. Okay, don't get that wrong. But I thought it was a little funny. I felt bad. It was a little funny. Um, but I don't know. Do you guys have any other remaining thoughts about the season or just about the players in general, the jury, all that jazz?
I mean, yeah, I think this was definitely a better season than last. I think that I'm a little upset that production didn't do as good of a job in hiding who was going to be on season 50 because I think that that ruined a lot of some of the blind sides. Like Sophie's elimination, Alex's elimination, even MC's elimination. Like a lot of these didn't seem like they would have been huge shockers if I didn't know that Rizzo and Savannah were kind of safe, because I don't think either of them go home early jury and then get brought into Survivor 50, especially since Tiffany's the only person on this new season to have been eliminated in the middle and like early mid jury Everybody else is either late jury, fire, or final three. So I don't love that aspect, but I do think that overall this was a fun season. I just don't think a lot of the strategic moves made a lot of sense. I think that was the only downfall of the season. Of if you have a three that you've established are the strongest people, and then you keep on taking out your own allies, it kind of gets to a point where you're like, well, these people aren't making smart moves. Like, why was Christina voted out at five? That made no sense to Sage, Sophie, and even Rizzo. But yeah, like people like Sage. Like, yeah, Sage made it to the end, but everyone was calling her a flip flopper because she kept on burning people. Like nobody was trusting her, and I think that that's a little unfair because I think Jawan too was flipping, and I think Sophie was. I think this season showed a lot of people moving and swaying throughout, but she was nailed as this flipper, which I don't think is necessarily she was just the only one. So I don't know. It was an interesting one. Also, rest in peace to MC. She deserved better. I wanted her to make it farther, and I'm so sad that she didn't.
I think the reason this season was better was because they were flip flopping and there was a little bit of uncertainty. I think season 48, I mean, I've said it before on the internet, I'll say it again. It was boring. It was boring. It was straight to the point. And, like, yes, is that better survivor play? Sure, yeah. But not everyone can act like that. Like, there has to be those people to switch things up and make the game interesting. So it was definitely better this season, but I thought it was so silly how so many people were like, "Oh, we can't touch Rizzo because he has an idol." This MFer went through, how many did he say? How many tribals?
Eight.
Nine? Eight
Oh,
tribals?
maybe nine or eight. I think
Something
eight.
like that, with not having to play his idol, and no one wrote his name down, like, I think more than maybe once or twice, which is crazy. So, I don't know.
Yeah,
I
I mean, it showed, like you said. Yeah, I mean, Jeff even said it. There was not a single correct idol played this season, but I think that Rizzo, while he didn't play his idol correctly, completely outplayed a lot of these people with the fact that he had an idol that he kept on threatening to use, and it scared people. It made people go for Nate when they should have gone for Savannah in that first vote because they were like, they will definitely not vote or use the idol on Nate, but he might use it for Savannah. He was able to get Sophie and MC to pit against each other during that split tribal. He was able to convince people to vote for Alex. I do think I'm interested to hear from Juwan, just to kind of hear some of that rationale, because I do think that because let's be real, Savannah was the most loyal player that entire season. Savannah had two people or three people with Nate, and she didn't touch any of them. She didn't say any of their names. She was like, "I'm working with you guys," and that's kind of it. And then with Sophie, she went for Sophie because Sophie said her name first. Like, I think it's funny that in a season full of a bunch of flip floppers, or maybe people who are willing to cross enemy lines in enemy territory, the person who kind of did the least amount of blindsiding won.
I definitely agree that with Emily that I think the flip-flopping and the lack of strategy kept it interesting is I guess an area that I disagree with Jack on, but where I definitely agree with him too though is I think production messed up either the way of telling the story or predicting the future of what's going to happen in it, where if we didn't know that they were going to 50, but more importantly, if they were pitched to us throughout the season as underdogs to begin with, then I think we would have been following them more in the way that you follow Tony in his season or Kim in One World, where a bunch of players in those seasons also make bad moves. There are copious amounts of bad moves in Survivor, and that's what keeps it fun. With these, though, it's frustrating to see bad moves be the only reason this trio makes it to the end and have it be that we just assume that they're winning. The stakes feel low even in the edit. And I don't know if that's because we all have the knowledge that they have to go far and like the prediction of winning and the spoilers, or if it's just how it was edited to begin with, where it didn't feel like we were following underdogs, where like Savannah should have been pitched as a comp beast. She's one of, isn't it six women or seven. It's a handful of women to like do these insane challenges. And there were some really strong women between her and Yellow Sophie and MC. They really weren't acknowledged much for that. And I feel like they could have pitched this season as like very challenge heavy and like people figuring out social strategies, not so much the like strategic gameplay. And they still pitched it as a gameplay season, and I don't understand why.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, okay, so how about everybody goes around and says their favorite player of the season, the player, and your favorite move of the season. And then maybe somebody that you may want to see again in the future, if even if it's not your favorite player. I can go first if you want. Okay, so I think, as just an, a playing standpoint, I think the person who played my favorite game was Sophie. And I think that while she should have made that move at the end, Sophie with an I should say, Sophie with an
Blue or
I.
yellow? Blue or yellow?
Blue Sophie.
Okay, thank you.
While she didn't make that move in the when she should have with the knowledge is power, I was just really entertained by her game. I thought it was a really great progression. And yes, is that unfair since we literally saw her game from the first episode and some of these people we didn't see really start playing until halfway through the season? Absolutely. But still, I really liked seeing her play. And I think that my favorite move of the season ended up being the vote off of Alex. And I think that seeing Alex, who's also like Sophie in the middle, but positioned a little bit better than Sophie, be played for the same reasons that Sophie was kind of being played, but just because Sophie was a little bit stronger on one side and they viewed Alex as a bit more of like could be a flip flopper. I thought that that was an interesting blindside that kind of changed the course of the season. And who I want to see play again, I want to see MC play again because I know that MC may have not been the perfect strategist, but I think that that's because she hasn't been as big of a fan as some other people. And I think that now that she's played the game and she's learned, I think she'll kill it on a second season because she already has the strength and she has that social game down. And I'm just interested to see.
Okay, so my favorite player, I'm gonna pick outside of my draft. So Sophie, Sage, and um, Jason are not gonna count. I really liked Steven. I really liked getting to know him. For a freaking rocket scientist, this man is built. He knows how to get the job done. But also, it's cool to see someone so smart be put outside of their comfortability, inside of their environment, and see how they can adapt and whatever. But also, he's just a lover of the game. So I really appreciated him, like, quoting other people or like referencing other people throughout the game, but using his own strategy and his own wit to kind of get him throughout the game. I think he was voted off at the perfect time because I think he could have won the whole thing if he made it that far. I wish I saw a little bit bigger moves out of him, but I just don't think that is the kind of game that he wanted to play. My favorite move of the season, weirdly enough, was voting off Jawan because you had to see that, well, one, the blind side, but two, how Sage reacted to it was really gut wrenching, and I knew that something bigger was gonna happen after that, and it was cool to still kind of see her control the game without having her sidekick there with her. So I thought that was an interesting gameplay. And then someone who I want to see again. Let's bring back Jake. He was gone too soon. He was gone too soon. The snake said, "No, you're done." But he's probably traumatized. I don't think he's ever going to come back. Right? No.
Once I get bit by a poisonous snake, I'm never stepping back on that island. I don't know about you.
He was just psychotic though as a player, and I wanted to see everything that he was going to do, especially with the kind of love triangle between him, Alex, and Sophie. Like I wanted to see what was going to happen, but unfortunately, we didn't really get to see that unfold. But those are my answers.
I think I have somewhat similar answers to both of you, where My favorite player of the season, I think I can't separating draft from game like Emily did, because if I didn't separate it, it would have to be Riz God, but I don't know if I'd say that if I didn't have him.
Nah, say
Um,
it. It's okay. It's okay.
but I unexpectedly loved Yellow Sophie. And I feel like she had a great arc that we really didn't get to see. She felt like she got a bit heathered, which I was upset about because I feel like she really could have powerhoused, and she played a lot for us to have not seen her in a season where it seemed hard to get stuff done. Um, Kind of in that vein with the same as Emily, I would love to see both of the people you both mentioned back. Of I think Steven would be great on another season where he actually can get people behind him. Because his biggest issue seemed like he wanted to do stuff and he got voted out for trying to play the game. Or seeing MC kind of in the opposite side of the spectrum of she's practiced and she can play a little bit better, but also I just love to see her like beast out some more challenges. And I think my favorite move isn't a move, but I hate to love fire, where I appreciated that even though it wasn't by their choice, the trio finally had to split up. And it was interesting where I think it was the first point in the season where we've all had the debate of like, will Rizzo or Savannah make it? Because they obviously both can't. So it felt like some of the highest stakes that there was no way to predict what was going to happen.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, that was season 49. It was definitely, as we said, better than 48. And now we move on to Survivor 50, the big 5-0. And let's go in a little bit about this little teaser we got. Our thoughts and opinions. Should we rip the band aid off?
What is Mr. Beast doing
Why
there?
is Mr. Beast there? Billie Eilish boomerang idol?
Jimmy Fallon voted for me. What are you talking about? What are you
Zach
talking about?
Brown?
I don't know. I don't know what they're doing.
In the hands of the fans, more like in the hands of the celebrity fans that see it.
Rude.
So yeah, I am really intrigued to see if this will be genius or if it will be a disaster. But I'm enjoying the cast to a degree of who we get to see. I'm so happy to see Q back on my screen. I love that man so much. And yeah, I think that I'm definitely intrigued.
It was an epic trailer. I'm so excited. I think the mix of people throughout the decades is going to be really cool, and eras too. I just think it's going to be so exciting. Especially seeing how there's, the older side of players and then there's now the newer side of players. And I feel like it's more like an old era versus new era season. And so I think it's just going to be spectacular. Something that I've been thinking about, and I wanted to get your guys' input on this. So during season 49, right, or 48, excuse me, we were able to vote on what we wanted for season 50, which was pretty cool, about challenges, where the finale is going to be, all that stuff. Um, but like the more I think about it, I'm like, I don't think it's going to stop there. I think there's going to be more voting opportunities throughout the season while we watch. What that's going to be, I have no idea, but I feel like that's going to be part of it too, to kind of switch things up.
Maybe. I mean, obviously, since it's not live and since it's already pre recorded, it won't have a lot of impact in the game. Maybe there will be elements for the finale that we can vote for. I do also think, in the opposite side, while we did vote, I don't think that's going to stop production from doing whatever the hell they want. I mean, they may say, oh, yeah, we don't have as many advantages, but we're going to add really weird advantages for the ones that we do have. And I think that while they're going to show us what we all voted for, there are things we didn't vote on and didn't have a chance to vote for that are definitely going to be present as well. I hope that Mr. Beast gives them money at least. I'll be happy if Mr. Beast is like, you know what, Rizgod, here's like 20K.
I think I'm more excited though for the clash of like how people are gonna play and what the commonality is gonna be, because I mean, season 48 was a clean sweep of just eliminating people and staying loyal. Season 49 was you cannot touch somebody because they have an idol. Um, I mean, I don't even remember what 47 was about, to be honest with you. So like,
Yeah.
it's gonna be fascinating. I'm so excited.
But if we want to quickly dive into just like our initial thoughts on the tribe divisions and our thoughts on kind of how they would go, we can.
I don't think I've seen them.
So the purple tribe is Colby, Kyle, Q, and Rizgod. Those are the 4 men. And then the women are Angelina, Aubrey, Genevieve, and Stephanie.
They're split by gender.
Well, I mean, it's just 4 and 4.
Oh, okay.
That appears like that will be the one that I have the most fun with. Just based off, I think Q and Rizzo on the same tribe is awesome. And Angelina and Q being on the same tribe with Genevieve. And I think Aubrey, it's so funny to have Aubrey there because Q voted out Mariah because he felt like she would be Aubrey-esque. Got the orange tribe, which is Christian, Joe, Ozzy, and Devins. And then Sari, Emily, Jenna, and Savannah. So we got Sari and Emily and Christian all together, which I'm excited about. And then Ozzy and Devins.
I'm gonna need some time to think about that. Like both of the like I don't know, the whole concept is still like crazy to me. So I just like will get back to me. When it comes back to the season 50 draft, ask me this question again.
Yep. And then finally, the teal tribe is Charlie, Coach, Jonathan, and Mike White with Chrissy, Dee, Camilla, and Tiffany. So I'm interested that that tribe seems to have a lot more new era with its women and men. I think there's more new era on this tribe than there are old. Interesting.
Which doesn't seem all that fair, but I'm sure there's a science behind how and where they put people. Woo!
But yeah, tune in while we do some Survivor 50 coverage next season, but we also may have a few more interviews lined up to talk about Survivor while the season is beginning to air. So be sure to follow us on our Instagram at Surviving Survivor Podcast. And Abby was killing it with these graphics throughout the season too. So shout out Abby, shout out Emily for editing these episodes. And yeah, thank you guys for tuning in.
As a finale to our draft reveal too, drum roll. In last place, we have Mr. Cabram with 14 points.
Oh no.
In 5th place, we have our previous winner, Ethan Berman, with 19 points. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Or 16 points. Same thing. Tied for 3rd/4th is Abby and Sabrina with 28 points, leaving
Wow.
a 1-point difference between our top 2, Mr. Jack Fraser and Miss Emily McGlynn. With 35 points, we have Jack Fraser, leaving the winner this season to be Emily McGlynn.
All I'm going to say is this is a first time in the history in which somebody has 2 of the 3 contestants in the final 3 from their draft.
Really? That's crazy.
So you killed it. So I think you deserve that W right there. Well
Again,
done.
guys, this is why you have to keep going in Delulu into these drafts, and then you just pick someone based on
And
vibes.
I will say, if you had listened to me and taken Jeremiah instead of Jason, you would have lost by a point. So you were
Oh,
going to
yeah.
win.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I think I said this after our draft, but I was shitting my pants because after I picked Sage, Jack was like, she's gonna be one of the first out. And you got so into my head, and I was like, I don't think so. Like, I think she's gonna be charming and she's gonna get her way through. I don't
I
know.
think she would have been one of the first out if they went to tribal, but they didn't go to tribal, and she said fuck you to all of those guys and made it to the final three.
Yeah.
So I am going to put my sock in my mouth and shut up.
Yeah, so Jack is never gonna get in my head ever again. In my
Just let it
entire
happen.
life. He will never get in my
How could second place, who said though you're loving the woman in the middle, like you had woman in the middle energy throughout the whole season.
And the
No.
middle podium is the winner,
Yep.
so she actually
Exactly.
knew.
So you know what? She knew what she was talking about.
Hmm.
Maybe she was even giving you a little hint without telling you that you were gonna win.
Maybe. I don't know.
Exactly.
So who knows?
And the three of us had the top four of the season.
Yes, we did.
So I feel like we kind of ate.
W.
I think so.
W. Um, but yeah, stay tuned definitely though for our season 50 draft because we're gonna switch things up. We're gonna make it interesting. We're gonna definitely start playing those things out. And just to address real quick, if anyone wants to let us know in the comments, we have gotten a bunch of random people starting to follow us. Not that we don't want the community to be bigger. We obviously want the community to be bigger. The more the merrier. No pun intended. But like,
We love you all. Thank
How
you.
did
well,
you find us?
How did you
What's the
find us?
tea?
Let us know.
yeah, and why are you here? Let us know.
But yeah, stay tuned. We're going to have coverage on 50, so be very ready. We're gonna have people.
Locked and loaded.
We have people locked and loaded, so get ready.
Well,
Be
I love you
sure.
guys. This has been great. Thank you all for watching and being patient and staying with us. We will hope you all enjoy your holidays and your happy new year. And we will see you in what month?
February. Well, I think we may see you even sooner if we have some chats, but
Yeah,
we'll see.
we'll let you know. Okay.
But definitely for February for that new year,
Yes, for
new
sure.
season.
For
Getting
sure.
ready.
See you guys in 2026. Bye.
Bye.